Welcome to Sounds of Brass.
Sounds of Brass is proudly sponsored by Stratos Brass. Say goodbye to mouthpiece pressure and hello to an optimised embouchure with the revolutionary one-size-fits-all Stratos Performer. Compatible with all brass instruments, it's your key to clearer, stronger playing, giving you more stamina than you ever thought possible. Get yours now for just £79.99 at stratosbrass.com. Exceed your expectations every time with the Stratos Performer.
Now over to Rob Collinson for a great brass band show.
Hello and welcome to this postcard from the Northeast with me, Rob Collinson. Stay with me for the next hour or so as I bring you familiar and not so familiar music from the world of brass bands. We have a guest band today. I'll tell you more about them after this. A rousing start today with the overture to Gilbert and Sullivan's The Yeoman of the Guard, Black Dyke Mills Band in fine form from the 1970s. The operetta premiered at the Savoy Theatre on the 3rd of October 1888 and ran for 423 performances. This was the 11th collaboration of 14 between Gilbert and Sullivan. Right, so let's meet my guest band today. About a month ago we visited the Emley Band to record some tracks specifically for the show. Emley Band is based in West Yorkshire and a band I have close ties with. I used to play for the band and was on the production team responsible for their 2 commercial CD recordings. Let's hear from them now. Balkan Dance by my guests the Emley Band. Usually I manage to interview a couple of people from the guest band. This session was no exception. In fact, 4 people came forward. Let's hear from Connor Black about the band.
So I'm Connor Black. I'm the chairman of Emley Brass Band and also their E-flat bass player. So the band is about 150 years old. We're from the village of Emley, which is up in the hills near Huddersfield. Beautiful part of the world. If anyone does know anything about this part of the world, you'll probably know the Emley Moor Mast, which used to be the tallest freestanding structure in Europe. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that. It is quite tall, and you can see it from miles around. If you've driven down the M1 past Barnsley, you'll have seen it at some point.
So Emley looks a little bit like, for overseas listeners, if they've ever seen Last of the Summer Wine, it's a little bit like that, the sort of area. If they've ever seen that,
I think that's quite an accurate description. Nice rolling hills,
right, and agriculture, things like that.
Lots of farming around, sheep, cows.
And how busy are the band?
Reasonably busy. So we do the areas in March of every year. So we are next year getting promoted to the first section for the first time.
Oh, well done.
Which has been highlighted last year.
Yeah.
Try and do a couple of other contests a year on top of that, as well as a fairly regular concert schedule.
Are they all local, the concerts? Or
quite a lot of local stuff. There's a big agricultural show that happens every year up underneath the mast called Emley Show. That's always our big job in August.
Christmas? Do you do a Christmas thing?
We do a lot of stuff at Christmas as well. Usually out every weekend in Christmas. Something like 12 jobs over the Christmas period.
So quite busy.
Yes.
And that's a major fundraising thing, is it, for the band? So are you sponsored in any way?
Not entirely sure what we started out as 150 years ago. The records aren't great for a period. We were adopted as the Emley Miners Welfare Band.
Right.
Because there used to be a coal mine up in Emley. That closed in the 60s. So no longer any association with the coal mine.
We're in your band room at the moment. This is your band room,
yes,
isn't it?
yeah. So our band room, it's been here since 1936, I believe. The band owns it, band maintains it. We use it for rehearsals twice a week. We also put on a beer festival every year over Easter weekend.
Yes, I've been to those. I've watched Glasses.
Yes.
Because I was a player here a little while back. I started on cornet. I sat next to Laura for a while. We'll hear Laura in the programme. And then I ended up on bass, so I sat next to Adam. Adam, and Adam's like a big force, or at least he was originally the big force behind the beer festival, wasn't he?
Adam is the mastermind of the beer festival. It's been going 12, 13, 14, 11, 10 years at this point.
Right, I see. Right, yeah.
It was Adam's idea initially. He's pulled together all the equipment we need. He sources the beers. He organises getting a bar in.
This is real ale, though, isn't it?
Real ale festival.
Right. So it's not just beer.
Not just your standard beers. Although we do have a lager every year. That's a new innovation for the last 3 years.
And you
get getting requests for it, so
you get a little bit of sponsorship for that. People, I think I've read somewhere people sponsor a keg or something like that.
Yes, yeah. We have a system where we try and get every keg sponsored, and then that puts little towards the operating costs and helps us make back on the beer festival what we spend in terms of buying.
On to the second item. As we hear the band, you'll sense a theme to the music selection. All will be revealed a little later. For now, we have something new to me. The music is from the 13th century, but arranged for band by Neil Brownless. This is Icelandic Hymn. Don't go away, we'll be back after this message.
Attention all UK brass bands and brass players. Sounds of Brass is supported by New Moon Insurance Services Limited, a specialised insurance broker for all types of musical instruments, specifically brass instruments and brass bands. We are part of the banding community and are an insurance partner of Brass Band England and support various competitions and regional events up and down the UK. Since 2009, New Moon Insurance have supported brass bands by returning some of your premium to your band each year, which totals over £100,000. Whether you are a championship band or a local non-competing band, New Moon Insurance have cover that's right for you at competitive prices. If you are based in the UK, Isle of Man, or the Channel Islands, for either your band insurance or specialist cover for your own instruments, why not give New Moon Insurance a call on 01892 280 323 or visit newmooninsurance.com.
I said earlier that the theme of the session would be made clear, so who better to explain than the band's musical director, Tim Sidwell?
Hello, my name is Tim Sidwell. I'm the musical director of Emley Brass Band.
Right, so a bit of a taskmaster, do you think?
Sometimes. I like to think we get the work done, but we do have a laugh. We do have some fun while we do it because it's everyone's hobby at the end of the day. So.
Right, it's a nice social band.
Yeah, they're a nice band, are Emley, which makes life nice and easy. We've got a great band room here. We've got a great library. All good.
So, how long have you been with the band?
Since
conducting?
2021.
Right.
In the days of I got the job through a Zoom meeting,
right.
Rather than the traditional stand in front of the band, because we couldn't stand in front of the band at that time. So that was an interesting experience. So I got appointed, I think May in 2021. Right. I just suddenly got a phone call and I was like, oh, okay. So this is, I wasn't expecting to get at that point anyway, certainly. So It was a nice surprise.
But a nice surprise.
Yeah,
because
I live in the village.
Right.
So this is a bit different to some of the other bands I've worked with before. It means something different to me. It's my thing I do for the village, if you like, because you've got to do something for your community. And I've had some relationship with the band anyway, because I'm good friends with Gary Harris, my predecessor.
Yes.
So I've been helping out over the years for many off and on and stuff. So. It all felt very natural, really, and it's going good. Like I said, good setup, nice people, nice village.
Was it quite daunting standing in front of the new people, or did
I'd like to say yes, but I don't know. It may surprise you, Rob, but I've been conducting for about 20 years now.
Wow!
So I'm not a young conductor, but I think I'm a middle-aged conductor. But kind of sometimes, because obviously there's certain people I knew from kind of some of the members of the band were actually friends, so it is a little bit different. But no, felt natural, felt good.
Right, so we've recorded a few pieces for the listeners tonight.
Fun enough, going back to our Zoom interview that we just mentioned before, as part of that interview, I had to come up with they wanted me to come up with a programme. Yes, you probably noticed all the pieces are very much folk inspired, so Balkan Dance, Etienne Cressaud, love his work. Such an exciting piece. I like the band get to sing. They don't. I do. Obviously, Holloway was always... Rillage wrote Holloway for the Hepworth Band, which is below the mentioned, and I'm a former member of Hepworth Band, so that's a piece I was familiar with. So, yes, that was definitely... Those two pieces were actually in my suggested programme in my interview, and here we are. We're doing them next Sunday, actually, in Emley Church.
Right.
So, and then there's a lot of all the other ones as well. So obviously, yes, we've got the solo from Laura, Cossack Wedding Dance, cracking arrangement by Peter Graham. Yep. Just lots of fun, gives the bands a lot to do. And slightly odd one out is the Icelandic hymn, but it sounds folky, so I think I got away with it.
It involves singing?
Yeah, more singing. more singing. There's a bit of a theme there, isn't there?
Yeah. You don't want to quiet it.
No, I don't know. I like to change the sound. I don't know. Maybe it's the when I'm back at university, which is a long time ago. I majored in arranging, and I had this thing about changing sounds. Also, being a drummer, I think you're very aware of sounds and how they should change and how you should keep them interesting. So I do like to suddenly break into voice.
Right, it's good. And quite a number of pieces do that, don't they?
Yeah. So I've had quite a vocal programme, haven't we? So.
You had a hymn tune, Old Emley. It's not one I know.
No. Thank you for pointing out. I don't know if Connor mentioned this. He was rooting around in the cellar, as Connor apparently does.
Right.
The bedroom cellar.
Fair enough.
It was something he needed some. It was some paperwork to do with something anyway. But anyway, he just came across this photocopy of a piece of music called Old Emley. Right. I was like, oh wow, and it does say Emley, the Emley folk song on it. So I took the photograph of it. Obviously, being a member of the village, I asked on one of the local Facebook groups, had anyone even heard of this? And it seemed that nobody knew the Emley's folk song. So I thought, this is going to work. This is coming in really nicely with my folk gig next year. Yes. So Liz did the arrangement of the hymn that you heard.
Right.
And currently, Emley First School, one of their classes is currently writing us a third verse.
So here is that hymn he was talking about, Old Emley.
Sounds of Brass is proudly sponsored by Stratos Brass. Say goodbye to mouthpiece pressure and hello to an optimised embouchure with the revolutionary one-size-fits-all Stratos Performer. Compatible with all brass instruments, it's your key to clearer, stronger playing, giving you more stamina than you ever thought possible. Get yours now for just £79.99 at stratosbrass.com. Exceed your expectations every time with the Stratos Performer.
We did record a solo at the session. This was in the form of a flugelhorn feature, My Ain Folk, a piece arranged for band by Peter Graham. I spoke to the soloist Laura Murphy about the solo and her work with the band.
I'm Laura Murphy, and I play flugel at Emley Brass Band, and I'm also the vice chair. We do a lot of looking at grants that we can get for the band, and getting lots of looking for players when our players can't play, because obviously this is a hobby, so not everyone can do every gig. So that's a lot of what I do. But yeah,
because you're not sponsored. The band
no,
isn't
we're not.
sponsored.
We're a charity actually.
All right.
So yeah, so we got charity status a couple of years ago. So we do get a lot of. We can get a lot of grants now because we've got that charity status, which is really nice. But then also that means that we do like to put things on for the local community and stuff like that. So recently we played up at the Millennium Green for their 25th anniversary. And we will also play for Christmas down at the church for their carol concert, and just nice stuff like that in the village, which is lovely. So,
So flugel. So we're going to feature you in a solo. What is that solo?
Yeah, so the solo is My Ain Folk, and we're playing it at a folk concert that we've got coming up really soon. It's really, really nice actually. It's the lady who composed it, Laura Lemon, she's from Canada, and it's all about this longing for home and wishing you was back at home, and it's got some really nice melodies in it, and it's just a really lovely piece just to sit back and listen to and to play. I really enjoy playing it.
Here is My Ain Folk featuring Laura.
Sounds of Brass has launched our own branded merchandise. We have some great promotional items available such as baseball caps, polo shirts, backpacks, mugs, and our own jacket. If you enjoy our brass band online radio station, please purchase something to help promote Sounds of Brass. Profits from all sales go towards helping us with our ongoing running costs. We ship to most countries across the world. Please check them out on our website, soundsofbrass.co.uk. Thank you. Enjoy our great brass band online radio station.
And we're back. My guests, the Emley Band, with another Peter Graham piece, Cossack Wedding Dance from Call of the Cossacks. This movement bears more than a passing resemblance to another Peter Graham work, a Hazelmere suite, which was used as the area test piece in the year 2000. The final movement from that suite is Charter Fair, and shares thematic material with the Cossack Wedding Dance. On to the last piece from my guests. I first heard this item at the National Coal Mining Museum contest we covered earlier in the year. You may remember we recorded the bands at the contest so that Sounds of Brass could bring you highlights. You may also remember that the weather wasn't particularly kind and that recording outside was a bit of a challenge. The Emley Band were in attendance and performed this next item as part of their set. The piece is called Haul Away, and the recent recording session gave us a chance to revisit the work under more controlled conditions. Better still, the work has been written by an Emley Band member, so as an added extra, let's hear composer Liz Bird talk a little about the piece.
Hi there, I'm Liz Bird and I play percussion with Emley Brass Band.
And you have arranged or composed one of the pieces that we're going to hear.
Yes.
What is the name of that piece?
So that is called Haul Away.
Right.
And it's a sort of combination of 3 different pieces, well, say tunes by a band called Bellowhead.
Right.
And so the first called Jiggery Poker Work, and that was an original composition by the band. The second is Haul Away, which is a sort of traditional maritime work song, and the last one is called The Seven Stars, and I believe it's a traditional Morris dance.
Right.
If I think about how I originally came across the piece, it was previously arranged for the band I used to play for, Hepworth, and I used to ask ideas for new things that I might arrange, and somebody in the band put forward and said, have you heard this? Have you seen this video on YouTube? It's a live recording of Haul Away by Bellowhead. So I went off and had listened, and I thought it's absolutely amazing. I think I watched it 10 times in a row. I very rarely work with sheet music when I'm doing a transcription or arrangement, and I mostly arrange everything by ear or by sight if I'm watching a film performance and sort of looking at all the detail that I can put into it. So I think that was my first consideration, was trying to capture the amazing amount of detail in that performance. So pretty much everything you can hear in the band recording has come from something that I either saw or heard when I was seeing the recording, and listening to it again and again and kind of mining it for new detail and material I can put into it.
Right, you mentioned the name of the band that your piece is from. Who are they?
They're called Bellowhead.
What do they think about the fact that a brass band is playing it? Do you have to ask permission or
I'm not
from
sure.
them?
I'm not sure if they like the arrangement or not. But we decided we wanted to play it in an entertainment contest. So our band secretary wrote them a letter asking permission. They were really happy for it to be played. So although I don't know what they think of the arrangement itself, I know that they've given their blessing for us to play it.
So here it is, Liz Bird's Haul Away. What did you think of that? Impressive stuff. A big thank you to the Emley Band for agreeing to be my guests. If you want to know more about the band, they're on the usual social media outlets where you'll learn of their upcoming concerts and events. Well worth a look.
Hello, my name's Chris Johnson, and I am the producer and one of the presenters on Sounds of Brass. Yes, the online radio station for brass bands across the world. My show is on Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. I've been involved in brass bands for many years, and I thought it was about time that brass bands had their own place in the world across the internet. So, hope you're enjoying this station, and I hope you enjoy my shows. Every Saturday I'm on, 7:30 in the evening, UK time. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the station.
If you enjoy our 24/7 online brass band radio station, please show your support, if you can, by making a donation. Simply visit our website, soundsofbrass.co.uk, and click on the donate button. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Peter Webster from Lancashire. I've been a brass player ever since I was 5 years old. I served in the cavalry regiment as a French horn player. I've also played euphonium for the Bellevue Brass Band. But recently, I've been privileged to be appointed the new musical director. Join me every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's UK time for my show, simply called Everything Brass Band. Meaning, if it's been played in a brass band, then I'll play it. So why not come and join me for the party every Thursday from 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. here on Sounds of Brass.
There's just time for the last item today, something by Eric Ball. Without looking through my notes for the previous 93 shows, yes, 93, but let's be honest, in Sounds of Brass terms, I'm still the newbie, I can't say for certain if you've already heard this here. It's Morning Rhapsody, which was chosen in 1949 as the area test piece. This is the Grimethorpe RJB band under the direction of Elgar Howarth. Okay, so normally I'd be signing off with the signature tune and thanking you for listening and my guest band's participation. Well, that sentiment is still there, but given we've been remembering the fallen recently, I'll end with something more appropriate. I hope you'll join me next time.